Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, according to Socrates, the only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. And good men eat to live, whereas bad men live to eat. So according to Socrates, some of those bad things that are happening to people aren't happening to good people, they're happening to bad people. Now, to understand that, we have to look at another philosopher close around that time, Epictetus. And Epictetus basically said there are three main types of problems. There are those problems or those bad things that happen to us that are 100% within our control. And then there are those bad things that happen to us where we have limited control. And then there are bad things that happen to us where we have no control whatsoever. So when we don't have any control whatsoever, or when we have limited control, we could be a good person and have a bad thing happen to us, but most of the bad things that are happening to most people are not happening to good people, they're happening to bad people. And to really understand that, you have to understand what Tolstoy meant when he wrote this 25-page essay as the foreword to a book he translated in Russian. It was called The Ethics of Diet by Howard Williams. And after he translated this book, he understood what all these great thinkers thought about the diet and behavior connection. Including that list would be Socrates and Plato and Pythagoras. They all knew that it was the diet that created the behavior. And that was the whole purpose of Tolstoy's introduction to this book. I highly recommend doing a Google search on that, The Ethics of Diet. Find a version that will have Tolstoy's first step. Watch my video I did called The First Step to Paradise, where I took this 25-page essay. And as I study things, I recap it and recap it and recap it and condense it and condense it and condense it and get it down to as few amount of words as possible so I can understand it better. And I did that with this video I did. I just let you listen to a tape recording of about 600 word condensed version of that. But basically what Tolstoy was saying is the same thing Socrates is saying. That we live to eat. After a certain age in our society, that's all we do. Everything is focused on eating, eating, eating. So that's what Tolstoy was saying. That we have an evil life. And that evil life centers around our eating. Gluttony. And that was Tolstoy's first step to gain back self-control. Because he knew that if we're at the bottom, the base level of a house where we're at evil, we want to go up to paradise, up where we don't have evil anymore, we got to go up these stairs, and the first step is self-control. And the thing we have to control is our eating. We live to eat. We're bad people. Most of the bad things that are happening to people is not God punishing us. We have a feedback system. It's part of our warning sign to let us know we're not obeying simple laws of nature. That's what it's for. So most of the bad things that are happening to people are happening to bad people. You did it to yourself, but you did it ignorantly. And people will say, but you got free will to be evil. No, we don't have free will because our free will is limited by what we know, and we don't know how to live. That's the problem. Again, back to Socrates, the only good is knowledge. The only evil is ignorance. We don't know how to live. That's what makes us evil. Back in those days, you wanted to make things simple. If you weren't living the right way, spell it backwards, and that's evil. That's what creates the dark side of our behavior when we don't live the right way. And when we don't live the right way, we have a feedback system to let us know. That's what all the illnesses and all the ill behaviors are for. We're not being punished. Our brains are wired for pleasure and pain for a reason. We're living systems. We're open systems. We need an environment to sustain us. This is our context. The quality of our context is reflected in the quality of us. When we think bad things are happening to us, they don't just fall out of the sky one day. It's what we've been doing every day of our life with our context, and we've been doing it wrong. We're eating the wrong food. It's unnatural. And now we're in such a huge state of denial. It's difficult to get most people's attention. That's why I'm convinced there's only one thing that's going to get everyone's attention. Because it's not as threatening. Excuse me, something, a little mustache here. And it's only something we do on a temporary basis so we can see what we're missing. And it's the same first step that Tolstoy's talking about. A solid food vacation. That's the first step. Tolstoy, to get to the second step up to paradise, we're in hell now. You can't skip steps. The first step, you got to have self-control. We don't have self-control. Everything we do centers around eating. We live to eat. We're bad people. I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just saying good and bad, good and evil. Oh, I'm not committing any evil things. I'm eating the bad food, but you're a contributing factor. No man's an island. The individual cannot escape the collective. You can't come out of Plato's cave and ever be out of it. Everything you do and everything everyone else does affects all of us. None of us have that right to abuse ourselves or other people. But we're doing that. It all begins with the abuse we're causing ourselves because we have no control. Society attacked early when we were helpless. We developed habits and addictions to the wrong thing. Now we crave what we're made out of. And what do we do about those pleasures? We run to denial, don't we? We just shut off that frontal lobe so we don't process that information. We got to wake up to this fact. And again, I know how hard this is to get people to eat more fruits and vegetables to see the power in those great things. That's why they got to test an idea's time has come. That's why it's something that more of us are willing to do, and then we can get everyone's attention. And then once that happens, then it will be so much easier for everybody just to adopt the right diet. Supply and demand, the demand will be there, or the supply will be there once we demand it. And if enough of us are doing it, it won't be so hard to break away from the herd because we're not breaking away from the herd. We're going the direction the herd is now going. So that's your job out there, folks. The trim tabs. Got to steer this ship away from that iceberg. We've got to keep our herd from going off that cliff over there. And all we got to do is get them to find the courage to do something they have done before. Climb that unexplored mountain. Test an idea as time has come, because when you do it, you're in for a treat.